A huge moo to the herd, and welcome to episode 32 of our Omnifactory playthrough. So I thought I would continue where we left off in the last episode and do a bit more with nuclear fission. So let me just wander over to... Actually, no, let's not bother. Let's just jump over there. Yes, I took on board the advice of people in the comments and put travel anchors everywhere because I was getting tired of all the walking backwards and forwards, and I'm pretty sure you guys were tired of watching me walk backwards and forwards. So we now have travel anchors all around the base and a staff of the travelling to get around. So I've automated our first fission reactor. It's currently making TBU, which is thorium-based fuel, which just requires thorium-232, and thorium-232 comes from a thermal centrifuge. So if I go to my machine room, oh, this is so much easier. You'll see I have 4 centrifuges, and they are basically taking thorium dust. It's round robin, and it's just processing all of that. In terms of actual getting the thorium, I purchased some thorium ore and put that from my ore processor. I also have been electrolyzing pitch blende. Now I do have another way of getting thorium, and that's via the igneous extruder, which has been set up to produce granite. Now if you look at granite, if we pulverize it, there is a chance of getting thorium dust. You'll notice it's a very, very low chance. It's like 1% at LV tier. So I put it into the calculator for overclocking, and we've got HV macerators at the moment, so that gives me a 2% chance, I think. If I was to upgrade those to EV, which is currently what my base is set at, that gives me a 4%. I really need to be IV or above to start getting it. IV is 8% and LUV is 16%. So it's not really worth me using the granite at the moment. So I'm using alternate methods, but in the long run, an igneous extruder with infinite water, which we've got from the aqueous accumulator, could give me infinite granite, which we can process and get thorium. So what are we doing? Well, first things first, let me just switch this reactor off. I'm basically processing all of that thorium dust in the thermal centrifuges, and that is then being piped up to here. It's actually not being piped up to here. That's a lie. This needs to be made into TBU first. So if I go back to my machine, what I've done is I've made a couple of towers of these. These are mechanical crafters, and the first mechanical crafter is making up thorium-232 into TBU fuel. So all I've done is I've got an interface bringing in thorium-232. I've put an item filter on to only allow thorium-232 in there, and that just makes up the TBU fuel. And I've done that pretty much for the bulk of the stuff we are making. So for instance, we've got neptunium-237, neptunium-236, and they are being made together, combined together to make LEN-236. We have americium-243, americium-242, and that's LEA-242. And then finally we have curium-243, curium-246, and LECM-243. And that will basically combine all of the stuff as it receives them from our various processes. The other thing I've got is our little turbo centrifuge. That's taking the depleted TBU and is then turning it into the components for the next tier. So that's the stuff I've done in the background. Where's my reactors? There we go. So what I've done, I went onto a website called, let me just get the address, leu-235.com, and I basically put in what I wanted. So for this reactor, I wanted a breeder reactor for TBU. And what that does is it runs a load of calculations, allegedly, and it will then give you a layout for, just hook up here, they give you a layout for your reactor. Now I've kept them all 3x3s, just to keep them all the same. And you'll see from this reactor, I'm just taking off a few of the casings. So what I've got is the top and the bottom are the same. So I've got reactor cells, 3 along there, 3 along there, 1 in the, that's it, just 3 and 3. I've got a cryothium cooler in the middle and 2 lapis coolers. That is the same at the bottom. And in the middle, if I remember correctly, it is an air gap, and there is cryothium in the corners and the reactor cells in the gaps between. And that basically, my fission reactor casing, I'll put this all back together. It feels weird just peeling off the casings on a nuclear fission reactor. I feel I should be glowing in the dark. Basically what that will do, it will burn the fuel in the quickest amount of time. So my TBU now burns in 45 seconds. Now the reason I want that is because I'm not using them for power generation, where we'd want the fuel to burn for a long period of time to get the most efficiency out of them. What we want to do is we want to get through that TBU as quickly as possible so it can be centrifuged and then used for the components for the next one. Let's just switch you back on. So our next reactor, now in the Omnifactory Discord, in the Omni Compendium, is a really handy chart for minimalistic nuclear craft fuel, and that's what I've been following on that. So what we're going to do on this one is LEN236. Let's just look up LEN236 if I could type LEN236. That requires Neptunium-237 and Neptunium-236, and the mechanical crafters are going to produce that. Now these are made from byproducts of the TBU, so as you can see, one follows into the other. Now what I need for this, and this is the other tool I've been using, is the nuclear craft calculator from a developer called Hellforge, or Hellfury. I think it's Hell's Fury. And what I will do is I will put the links to both these tools in the description so that you can get them yourself if you wanted them. Just gonna quickly open configuration, load Omnifactory. Okay, so for the LEN236, I think I said it was. LEN236. With the reactor planner, what I need is 5 reactor cells at the bottom, 2 lapis coolers, and 2 redstone coolers. So let's do this. So we want our reactor cells, and I've made all this stuff off camera because otherwise you'd be sitting there for hours watching me just stare at machines. And I want, do I want to, yeah, the redstone on the left and right. I'm not sure it matters as long as they're conform to the rules. So 2 redstone there. We'll grab our lapis. Okay, so that's the base tier done. Next one is, well, this is a nice easy one. It should just be 4 reactor cells. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just air blocks everywhere else. And then the rest should just be repeat what we have here. So, nope, that's not what I wanted. Pop. Lapis. Lapis. Redstone. Redstone. And then reactor cells. Not there. Oh, lousy aim. 1 there. 1 there. And 1 there. Is there 1 in the middle? Let me just check. Yes, there is. There's 1 in the middle as well. So now that's done, let's encase this. Actually, I need to get some more reactor casings. Take the full lot I made up. And we will now just our casings all the way around. This is the one that's a little bit trickier. Now hopefully, because they're touching, it shouldn't cause me a problem, but I assume nothing. Last but not least, okay, so hopefully when I click on this it says it's valid, which is exactly what we wanted. Now the next thing we need is to get some LEN, which hopefully I've made up. Yeah, LEN, I have an LEN cake sitting there. Go over to reactors, and what we'll do is we'll pop that on there, and we'll just say, stick that in. We want you to extract always active and insert, and that's now put in my LEN236 into my reactor. I've added some filters again just to put in so that only takes the right stuff, so we'll add that in there just in case it starts to try and put the depleted stuff in. Right, next piece is to just switch it on, and you'll see it's generating energy, but these reactor plans are they won't gain heat, so they should avoid meltdowns. So this will take I think this is about 36 seconds to process the LEN 236. So once that's done, what we want to do is grab the depleted LEN236 and stick that onto the interface for our centrifuge. So that's the first one in. Make sure that extracts it, and it has. Right, control panel, control room. Take the depleted, and then down to the machine room. And go to our interface, and we'll say, I want to add you into there. Pop that away, and that should then start processing that and allow our mechanical crafters to do their stuff. So reactor's done. What's the next one I need to do? Well, that would be LEA242, which is American, if I remember correctly. So we'll just load up my reactor plan for American. Right, so slightly different one, this one. This is using cryothium and redstone coolers. So let's grab our casings. And it is a outer X, so 1, 2, 3, 4, similar to the previous one we've just done. And 2 in the middle, 2 in the side. Okay, so redstone here, grab my cryothium. Shouldn't need the pickaxe just yet. Okay, and that's our base layer done. The next tier is going to be reactor casings. Oh, terrible memory. Yes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then redstone in each of the corners. Okay, that's 2 tiers done. And then if I'm right, the next one should be just a case of repeating what we did at the bottom. They are meant to be symmetrical, so 2, 3, 4, done. So we'll grab some casings, get this all prettied up. Hopefully, I hope I've done all the right calculations. When you're doing this and you go, have I done enough? Have I got enough casings for this? When I did the calculations, it was 162 casings I needed, so Right. Is this working? Casing incomplete. Oh, I've got the roof. Do. Okay, now that should be ready. No fuel. Okay, so this one, we want LEA. What did I say it was? LEA 242. So LEA. Actually, why am I doing it from here? I want to go to the control room and see if I've made any LEA 242 up yet. Ooh, we have got some. Brilliant. We'll go back to our reactors. We will say on our filter, right, you should be insert, extract always active, extract always active, and LEA 242 fuel. And we pop that in there, stick that in there, and that's ready to go. So if we switch that on, and again, we see the power go up, but no heat. So it is all heat neutral, should stop them from melting down. And once we've got this one done, and I think this one's about 20 seconds or something, into 10-15 seconds. It's pretty quick on this one. And that's our first, we'll grab that one quickly. Depleted LEA fuel, so we go down to the machine room and we'll add that into here, drop that in, and again, that's the next piece done. So the final reactor. Now, I want to check how many casings have I got? 34. There should be, oh no, there's 2 stacks of them. 53. Seem to be missing 1 casing because it should be 54 casings. Go to the control room and make sure I haven't left any behind. No, I am definitely missing a casing. Is it 54? Pretty sure it's 54. Let's just quickly craft one of those. And meanwhile, the next one we've got to make, bit of lag there, is LECM 243. So, what do I need for the LECM 243? Load reactor, LECM 243. Okay, similar layout to the previous one. So, 5 reactor casings on the bottom. And then, is that the right one? One second, I'm just double checking my numbers here. Yeah. So, redstone cooler here and here, Bryothium cooler here and here. And then for the next tier, it's all Cryothium, so Cryothium coolers in the corners. And then I think, yes, it's reactor cells 1, 2, 3, 4 with an air gap in the middle. And then repeat what we did at the bottom. So redstone there. And then the final 5. Oh, not that one. Here's my pickaxe. I said I wouldn't need my pickaxe, and yet I did. Thank you. So the final one goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll grab our fission reactor casings. Do the same as before. Get these all covered up. I love the clicks from the Geiger counter in the background. It does make me wonder if I am being irradiated though. Oh, maybe I was completely wrong in terms of my numbers. I think I've got enough casings. Let's just verify that's correct. That is. Right, so The last one is LECM. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't have any LECM, but let's find out. LECM. Nope. We don't have any LECM at the moment because we're waiting for the others to process. So can't really do anything until that is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here. And once we've got some LECM made up, we will get the last reactor done. And then maybe someone in the comments can tell me what on earth is it for, because I've done it, I've automated it. I still don't know what the purpose of it is, but I'm sure it's something useful. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our first cakes of LECM 243. So first I'm going to do is just grab that, pop that on there. Make sure that's insert. And extract always active. Insert extract always active. Okay. Don't actually want that extract always active, do I? I don't think I need that. Check the other one. No, it is always active. So leave that as always active. Right, so we're waiting for, just make sure the filter's set up. This is for LECM 243. Whitelist that. That's ready. So the last thing to do is just to add our fuel back in. That will again get sucked into here, and we'll just switch our reactor on. Again, heat neutral, so we're not going to get these melting. Got all this power, and I might siphon off that power, to be honest, because it's generating power. We may as well use it somewhere, but it's not the whole reason for getting it. Oh, missed it. All right, so let's go to the control room, grab our depleted LECM, off to the machine room, and finally add that into our centrifuge. And what does that give us? Good question. Well, if I go back to the quest book, we go into mid-game, and we need Californium Fission, which is Californium 249, Californium 252, LECF 249, and then depleted LECF 249. And the same for berkelium. Again, berkelium 248, berkelium 247, LEB 248, and depleted LEB 248. It says depleted LEB 248 results in several different isotopes of californium. Okay. And then this one says californium is the final fissile material in the nuclear craft processing chain. Depleted LECF 249 fuel results in different isotopes of californium. Unless you want californium RTGs or an experimenting with further fission routes, this step is probably unnecessary for general materials processing. So, right, how much californium do I have? I have a tiny clump of californium 249. So, we turn that into some californium 249. We need californium 252, which we don't have any of yet. What about berkelium? Right, so we can make and that. We might be able to do something with the berkelium. So go back, berkelium, so LEB 248. What I'm after, LEB 248. Can I make any of that? Yes, I can. What I may do is just take a risk, because I haven't actually set up any reactors to be able to handle this. So we'll take our LEB 248. We will stick it into the end reactor. So this one should burn pretty quickly, and let's see if this starts generating heat. No, no heat there. Oh, no, that's not too bad then. So this will give me my depleted LEB 248, which I will just stick in the centrifuge just to get that quest done. So if I then get the californium done, we'll see what the quest at the bottom it says. It probably says, I hope you didn't automate all this because it was a big waste of time. That's me just being very cynical. Anyway, I've enjoyed automating. It's all been fun. Got 4 reactors. Right, so that's done. So if I go to control room, grab our depleted LEB. So that one's done. And plus each of these quests gives an $1, so it's actually pretty worth doing. And we'll just throw that in here. Okay, and then the final one is still this Californium. What have we got? So we got the Californium 249. What was the other stuff I needed? I want Californium 252, which we have some. Okay, that's not too bad. Do we have enough though? That is the question. The answer is no. We'll need to wait for. I think we need 8 of that. We do. We'll have to wait a little bit for that. So I'll pause and wait for that to come up, and then we'll get that. Once that's done, we'll get this quest finished. Okay, so I have finished the Californium. So we have our depleted LE CF249. So we'll just run this down to the machine room and drop that in the centrifuge. And let's see what the final quest says. It says, further adventures in fission. Now you have all the basic building blocks of nuclear fission, you'll need to start creating breeder chains to mass produce stabilized versions of each element for the synthesis of omnium. Experiment around with large breeder reactors that can handle highly enriched fuels. Probably want to build multiple reactors to make all the fissile elements in any reasonable amount of time. Okay, so it's used for omnium. That's cool. Mass produce stabilized versions of each element. So let's have a look at omnium. Omnium. Omnium dust. Mode of omnium. Okay, here we go. So stabilized uranium, stabilized neptunium, stabilized plutonium, stabilized americium, stabilized curium, stabilized berkelium, stabilized californium, and stabilized einsteinium. The new one. Okay. Well, at least I know the stuff I've set up hasn't been a waste of time. We are going to have to think about the stabilized versions, and that's basically just fluid and in a fluid solidifier. Okay, so I've got a chain for producing the stuff. That is brilliant. All we need to do now, just pop that away, is there's a few more elements that I clearly need to add into it. We'll need to work on those, and then we'll need to probably look at getting bigger ones. But for a start, I think this will do quite nicely. So I think we'll end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to give it a like. If you'd like to see more episodes, then please feel free to subscribe. Until then, I wish you a very pleasant day. Goodbye.